Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Southold, formerly the First Universalist Church of Southold. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, and whomever you love, we welcome you. Today we are gathering on the traditional land of the My name is Mark Dixon, and I am the president of the Board of Trustees and a member of this congregation. We are so glad to see you, whether you are visiting for the first time or come often. If you are not on our mailing or email lists, please sign our guest book on the welcome desk as you enter from the parking lot. You will then receive the Free Spirit newsletter each month and hear about upcoming events. Copies of the newsletter are on the action table to the left as you enter behind me. Please like us on our YouTube channel, Unitarian Universalists of Southold. We stream our services there, and you can find past services archived. The action table has other information that you may find interesting as well. Also, for your use are masks and hand sanitizers, but they are not required at this time. We offer many ways to serve this community, from providing hospitality, flowers, ushering on Sundays, to joining our social action and other committees. Please stay after the service for coffee, refreshments, and lively conversation. And we're having our fellowship luncheon immediately after the service today. On the back of your order of service are announcements. The fellowship luncheon. And also this afternoon at 4 p.m. is the North Fork Social Action Center. There is lots to do with that. On March 24th and weekly, we have yoga and meditation with Nancy Bayless starting at 10:30 a.m. in this room. On March 25th, we have a piano master class of contemporary music with Charlotte Day, our pianist. That starts at 3 o'clock. On March 25th at 5 p.m., that's a Wednesday, we have our board meeting in the small meeting room. That will be in person or on Zoom. On March 27th, we have Soulful Sundown with The Hidden City. That will also include a light meal, so spread the word. That's from 5 to 7 on the 27th. On March 29th, we have Testimonials, Talents, and Treasures with Valerie Friesman, Patty McManus, and Susan Johnson. And on April 4th at 5 p.m., the Holsteins are hosting a Passover Seder in this room. So please join us for a ceremonial festive meal. Also, you'll notice that the upcoming goods and services auction, donate your treasures for the fundraiser on May 30th. We have an information sheet on the entry table as you come in behind us. Are there any other announcements pertaining to the life of this church?
Good. Yes, so today is the fellowship luncheon, and that is when we always kick off our pledge campaign for the coming year. So on the back table are our pledge packets. If you're a member, there will be one with your name on it. If you're just a friend or an interested party and you'd like to learn a little more about what that's all about, there are some blank packets available, so please help yourself. So please be sure to pick up your packet after the service, and we will talk about the pledge campaign a little bit during the lunch.
Just an addendum to that, Virginia and Suzette and I have prepared way more food than this room can eat, and so please come. Whether you're a member or not, you're welcome, please, to come to lunch. Thanks.
You can leave it on.
I wanted to add about the service on the 29th that Virginia Cava and Mary Charters will also be participating in that service. Very important, we are going to have a farewell luncheon for Valerie, and that will take place on the 12th of April, and all are welcome. We are even extending an invitation to GEM, Greenport Ecumenical Ministry, of which Val was an important part. So It should be a lovely occasion celebrating her ministry with us. Bye. That's it. People, remember to sign up for the Soulful Sundown. There's a sheet on the front table.
I will also remind everyone that on the 28th, we are sponsoring the No Kings March. It's going to be in Riverhead and Greenport. And as I said, we need to show everyone that this is too far. We have gone too far. That's enough politics. At this point is now in a part of our service where you get to greet your neighbor.
It's done and it's in my purse. It's going to be what it's going to be. Yeah. 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 I was told to talk about tonight in regards to stewardship, so that's my topic. It was specific, so yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Please join me as we light our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith.
The opening words for today's service are, vulnerability is the only authentic state. Being vulnerable means being open. For wounding, yes, but also for pleasure. Being open to the wounds of life means also being open to the bounty and beauty. Don't mask or deny vulnerability. It is your greatest asset. Be vulnerable. Quake and shake in your boots with it. The new goodness that is coming to you in the form of people, situations, and things can only come to you when you are vulnerable. That is, when you are open.
Please rise in body and/or spirit as we sing our opening hymn with heart and mind, number 300. If you could join me with our words of affirmation that are printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. From all that dwell below the sky, let words of love and peace arise. Let joyful songs of praise be sung through every land by every tongue. Amen. Now is the time where we collect our donations for the work and service of this church. Now is the time in our service where we want to share a joy or concern. And I will start. One, for my lovely wife and her lovely voice. And two, for our lovely pianist and the music that she brings every time she comes. Thank you, Charlotte.
I'd like to drop a stone in memory of Irene Stewart. I know she passed away about 2 weeks ago, but I don't get out to the service very often. And she was a very special friend to me and a big part of this church for many years. So remembering Irene with love.
My joy is that we have Joe McKay back with us. He's a very near and dear friend of this church and has given us many wonderful talks, and I look forward to hearing him again. And I also want to welcome a man who grew up in this church and introduced himself to me just. His name is John Waite. And any of you who've been in the church for a long time, he was a child in this church. He's sitting in the back row. Why don't you raise your hand, John? It's very special when we have people who've known us for so many years who come back to be with us. Really deep sorrow about what's happening in Iran and our engagement in that.
I will drop one more for those joys or concerns that go unspoken. Let us remember that there are always joys and sorrows that go unspoken for many reasons, but we are not alone as we hold one another in our hearts. If you could join us as we, in our responsive reading, number 521. I will read the plain text, and you can read the italics. May I be no one's enemy, and may I be the friend of that which is eternal and abides. May I never rejoice in the ill fortune of one who has wronged me. May I never fail as a friend. May I always keep tame that which rages within me. May I know good people and follow in their footsteps.
Happy spring, everybody. And welcome. It's so very nice to see you all. Yeah. What is slipper tape? This talk today called Open Mind, Open Heart, I gave as a workshop during the month of February at Peconic Landing in our winter trimester of lifetime learning. And I just want to describe to you what it was like. We met once a week for an hour and a half for 4 weeks, and we mostly shared. We shared whatever we wanted to that seemed topical to the day under this topic of open mind, open heart. And then at the end of the session, I handed out some very brief readings. And some of them are over here, and there's little piles of them. Anybody who wants can take what they want. Not the books, there's 3 books that they are based on. And the instruction was to take a minimum of 20 or 25 minutes per week to read those, per day, 20 or 25 minutes per day to read those things and to reflect on them and reflect on the whole idea of open mind, open heart, as it was evolving for each person as the weeks went by. So we finished up 3 weeks ago Friday on February 27th. And when I was asked to speak, I thought, well, this comes very, very handy that I'm just finishing up this workshop, and so I'll do the talk based on that. It'll be just a snap. Well, it turned out it wasn't at all, because adapting something that took so much time and so much concentration over a long period of time to something that's 20 or 25 minutes long the most here in church, it just turned out to be. So you're going to forgive me if I sound like I'm switching off from the preacher in the pulpit talk to the leader in the workshop talk, and you'll pick it up. The first thing I want to say is where the idea came from for the workshop in the first place, and I would say there's three things I might quote, or 3 people I might quote, or things I heard that I might quote. The first one is, all my life I've heard this expression said by people at various times, I'm only human. And from very early on, I really hated that. I didn't know why I hated it, but it sounded so limiting, so debasing, self-debasing, like, what does that mean? I'm only human. I couldn't quite get it, but it bothered me and has stuck with me all my life from the time I was a kid. The second thing that jumps out at me, more recently, I would say in recent years, is a quote from Einstein. And it's this: the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. So that was like the opposite end altogether of I'm only human. Gosh, is it comprehensible? So we can go to work to figure out why it is that we always think it's incomprehensible, and why is it that Einstein thought that it really is comprehensible. So that takes like a lifetime of study and thought and concentration. And going back to somewhere in between all that was a quote that I came to know from the poet Rumi. And it was this: out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And I've always loved that, because it seemed to be encouraging the idea that what seems to be the little us really can comprehend the big picture. If we open our minds, as Rumi says, go out into that field of beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing. And the right doing and wrongdoing to me stands for the idea of one idea which is opposed to another idea. Okay, so you got to get that notion of this is right and that's wrong out of your head and come to an open place where you can talk and think and write and chat with other people about where we live, what we're in the middle of. So those are the origins of this workshop. So on the cover of the order of service, you'll see a sketch. And it's by Jillian Maraglia, who was here with us, a good friend of mine. And I told her what I was about, and I said I wanted to have an image that she might draw in response to this title for the cover of the workbook that we used in the workshop and for this service today. So if you see what she drew, she kind of got it right away. I said open mind, open heart. Many people didn't, but she did. And this is what she drew. And I liked it because it showed, first of all, the togetherness of the mind and heart. And secondly, the fact that it's reaching out into the world constantly to pick up what it is that's going on. At the same time, those vessels of things going out from you are also vessels to bring things into you. So that's what we focused on in the workshop. We focused on that drawing for that reason, to remind people that yes, we are very open. Most of us think of ourselves as reasonably open. If we don't hate anything or only hate a few things, we think, well, I'm fine. I go along. I'm a liberal person and I read good stuff and, I'm probably open-minded. It's always a shock. It's always a shock for people who think they are so very open-minded to realize that they really aren't. They protect themselves. We all protect ourselves. That's why I like that quote, vulnerability. Is to be vulnerable is really to be open, to be at risk for what we say, not to be comfortable that we're in a crowd where I better say this or I better say that because here's who I'm with, but to speak your own mind, not with any rancor, but just to speak your own mind. That is open-mindedness. One example I like to use is, because it's easy, is like about the weather. When we wake up in the morning on a day that is cloudy, gray, rainy, and particularly if we were expecting it to be otherwise, we get up and we grumble to ourselves oh, geez, what a lousy, rotten day this is. And then we go out and we get everybody in the world to agree that that's exactly right. What a crappy day this is. It's just awful, just awful. That's easy. It's an easy one to do rather than politics, like why should we love Hitler? That's a tough one. But it's not easy. It's actually very, very difficult, because to change our minds that this is not a lousy day, it's really a good day and for good reason, and then to practice it, to practice that, because it takes a long time to practice seeing what's good about a lousy day, and to stop saying it's a lousy day. It's a good exercise in being open-minded. So, another way to put this is that being open-minded is like stretching. It's like a stretching exercise, mental and heartfelt exercise to get ourselves out of a routine, to recognize, and this is something that Einstein liked too, that this is a limitless world. The world keeps expanding. We read it now these days in the paper or in some magazine almost regularly, a scientific section, that the universe is continually expanding. Every single moment, every day, the universe is expanding. That's not something we grew up with. It seemed, we learned that it was, had boundaries. It does not have boundaries, we are finding. And we are of the universe. In the Bible it says, God, we are made in the image and likeness of God. Same thing. We are made in the image and likeness of the universe. And if the universe is boundless, if the universe can keep on every single day growing, stretching, reaching out, as it shows in the drawing, then we can too. And that's the opposite of I am only human. So that was the premise, the basis of the workshop, and we took pretty much the whole first week, maybe a week and a half, to work on that, to talk and to have people say, but it is a lousy day. Or, I am poor, I was born poor, I'm poor. It took about a week and a half to work through that, and not everybody was convinced at the end of a week and a half, I can assure you. When I first had the challenge about this workshop, I thought, I guess I have to achieve, in order for me to feel good, I have to know that when it's all over, all the people who come to the workshop would say, aha, I got there. And I thought after a while, that doesn't sound so good. It's fine for the me who has got to achieve, but I'm not sure it's really very realistic that that's going to happen. So over a long time, when I say a long time, since last September, I would say, up until the workshop started, I had to keep coming back in terms of what I expected. And what I expected was that people would simply agree to enter a process, because being open-minded and open-hearted is really not a state of being. It's not a place you get to and then you say, yay, me, I got there. It's a process. And it is a process like the universe expanding. It goes on and on and on every day, forever. It just doesn't end. So there's no standing up and taking a medal and saying, yay, I went to these workshops and I opened my mind, and then I read some more, and then I opened my mind, and I got there. That's not the way it is. It's got to be a state of mind where we're constantly aware, we are constantly aware that we are growing, that we are moving. So in the second, third, and fourth weeks, we used 3 ideas, and there are many, many more, because it's amazing when you start to read in this field, it's amazing how many people, Ralph Waldo Emerson, of the Universalist Universal Church, for example, was somebody who really talked a lot about being open, about openness. And it does seem like openness, and we spent a whole lot of time on this, it seems that openness might have been a little bit more common in earlier times than it is today. And another wonderment was, why is that? In a way, you would think it would be the opposite. But technology has really gradually worked us down to making choices between this and that. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, there's just so much out there. No, it's either this or that. And if you notice, when you're asked to decide about something, nobody wants to hear you talk. They want to know, is this the right answer or is that the right answer? Are you going to vote for this person or that person? Just tell me. I don't want to hear all your stuff. Just tell me. And that's constant. It's this or that, true or false. Everything is binary, or most things, I should say. Not a lot of room for grayness, not a lot of room for discussion. So Adam Grant, who is the author of the book there on the left of that table, which is called Think Again. I first became familiar with him several years ago. He had an op-ed in the New York Times that said, if we want to, if we want to have a better election system, we should do away with elections. That's what it was. If we want to have better politics, we should do away with elections. Well, that's a headline grabber. But it attracted me. And essentially, you know, what he was saying was, think about allowing anybody who wants to run for office and devise a system that makes that work. But he was saying it would get more honesty, it would get more ideas, it would get less channeling. And it's a very, very good article. It's inside the cover of the book. And then a couple of years later, he comes out with this book, which was, I think, early last year or the year before, Think Again. And what he's suggesting is rethinking everything. Everything. Whenever you have an idea that you have been very familiar with, you're very comfortable with it, stop, pause, because you have committed yourself to the process of being open-minded. Stop and pause and say, boy, I really believe that. I've believed that pretty much all my life. But I'm going to question it. And you begin to question it and say, could there be any truth to this? Could there be anything that I want to learn from that? And of course, he sold a lot of copies of the book because it really works. It really, really works, that if you stop, pause, don't jump on the bandwagon that everybody else is on, and say, I'm going to think about this. I am going to think about this. That's a phrase we don't hear anymore in dialogue. We do not hear it. I don't know. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks. I'm going to think about it. Just don't hear that. So then, moving on, we moved on to Socrates, or moved back to Socrates. And there was a book that I found that I like very much by Agnes Gellard, and it's called Open Socrates. That also was irresistible to me. And essentially Socrates was saying, we don't really know anything, which is just another way of saying there's always more to learn. So don't pretend or act like or let yourself become such an expert that you seem like, or you feel to yourself or to other people like he knows it all. And then finally, we addressed the book of another hero of mine, and he's been a hero for a long, long time, I don't know how long, was Viktor Frankl. I don't know when I first heard of him, but it's a long, long time ago. And he was a psychotherapist, psychoanalyst, psychologist from Vienna in the 1920s and 30s. And in 1942, he was arrested in Austria and put into a concentration camp. And for the rest of the war, from 1942 until 1945, he was in 3 different concentration camps. Somehow he avoided, all of his family were killed. All of his family were killed. He somehow or other made it through to 1945. And the first thing I remember hearing about him was when Dachau was liberated. Of course, the press were all over the place asking people, how are they, how did they survive, how did they go? And Frankl said, and I can hardly say it even now without breaking up. Frankl said, I learned a lot about myself. And that's all he would say. He would not condemn. He would not go into details of what he experienced or what he suffered. He just said, I learned something about myself every day. And as soon as, a couple of days later, literally, a couple of days later, he started to write Man's Search for Meaning, which is the other book that we have here, which I probably have 5 copies of, except maybe I lent them to people, maybe some of you here, that never gave them back. So I did go, and rather than search my library, in the last couple of weeks, I bought a new copy. But that search for meaning, that idea that if we decide that this is going to be the way, it is that every single day I am going to notice what's going on, what are my circumstances, and what am I learning from them. So to illustrate that section of the workshop, being that I'm not a technology guy, and I could have done it up very nicely, I simply took a chalkboard and I drew something that looked like a donut. And the big outer circumference was our circumstances. All of it is circumstances, circumstances. And in the middle, there's a small circle that is ourselves. And then I drew little arrows back and forth between the big circle and the little circle, very similar to what the artwork is on the front of this, but that was very graphic, and that is that the circumstances are the circumstances. We are not our circumstances, no matter how much it might seem that we are. Well, how can I possibly think that way when he's president? Or as somebody said to me the other day, how can we talk about this when that's going on? I thought, okay, what are we talking about here? Am I my circumstances? And the answer is, it may be difficult to remove ourselves from them, but the answer is, I am not my circumstances. I am me, and I have control over, just the way Viktor Frankl did. I don't have control over the circumstances, but I have control over what I make of them. I can make what I want. It does not mean that we can't go out and protest or do anything that we want to do that is sincerely felt, that is done with love and hope for the future. That's good, but that's not who I am. It's something that I have chosen to do. It's very easy to see people swept up in movements. It's important not to be swept up in anything, but to give everything consideration and thought before we decide to do it. That's the difference between what's going on in the world and what's going on in us. So throughout all of what I've thought in this field and written, I found that spending time alone, spending quiet time, quality quiet time, is so very valuable. I think I've always had some sense of that, but I don't think I've believed it and practiced it nearly as well as I do since maybe last September, when I started to put together the idea for this workshop. That spending alone time, you can call it meditation if you want. I prefer to call it daydreaming. Just don't be worried about your lists. Take time out. Just take time out and let yourself be without an agenda. Don't think about how much time I have to do this. It'll take care of itself. You'd be surprised. How much time do I have to have my coffee at the table before I have to go to such and such? Yeah, once in a while it's going to happen. Get up earlier rather than hurry. Daydreaming. Daydreaming, I realize, for me, is the cradle of love and art and regard. The cradle of love and art and regard. So sometimes I call it alone time, but you can call it's also daydreaming, plain and simple. So the last note I want to make is that I realized I have got to stop using the word should. I did read someplace that it's maybe the cruelest word in the English language is should, because when people feel they should do something or should think a certain way or feel a certain way, immediately they are limited. Immediately they are thrown back to the I am only human. I'm only human. I should do this. I should do that. I've got to respond to what I should do. The truth is, you are not obliged to do anything. God or the universe doesn't care. That can hurt, but it can also liberate. And it has two different tenses. I should be this way is present. I should have been earlier in my life because now I'm sorry for it. Psht, throw it all out. Think about the future and simply stop thinking about shoulds. That was pretty much how the workshop, that was pretty much how the workshop went. I still can't be absolutely sure of how many people changed. There were 22 people in the workshop. I can't be sure how many changed very much, but I think most everybody got on the track of knowing that they had to do something a little bit more to open themselves up. So that's how it went. Thanks. Hope you benefited from it. Okay. Okay. Do I go on? I'll tell you, this thing drives me crazy. So now we will have a meditation. Thank you, Shirley. Words of meditation. If you have never changed your mind about some fundamental tenet of your belief, if you have never questioned the basics, and if you have no wish to do so, then you are not truly open-minded. Open-mindedness is not a weakness. It is a strength rooted in intellectual humility, recognizing that no one has all the answers and that every perspective has something to teach us. It takes courage to say, "I don't know," or to reconsider a belief in light of new evidence. These habits of mind are essential for personal growth, democratic health, and social cohesion. Now we'll just put all that stuff in our hearts and minds and be quiet for a few minutes. And finally, our closing hymn, which has been a favorite of mine for a long, long time. We'll all rise and stand, and if you can, reach out and hold hands. In place of what it says in the order of service about closing words, I want to say this for closing words. There are so many people here to thank, and I won't do it individually, but putting together a service like this takes a long time and a lot of effort on the part of so many people. Just everything you've experienced today has come from collaboration among a whole lot of people, many of whom are here and some of whom are not. But It really began a long time ago and was interfered, Susan, by my getting sick in the middle of January and announcing such two or 3 days before January 15th. And she's scrambling really quickly to come up with this date of March 22nd. So I thought, okay, we'll do it after the workshop instead of before. What the hell? But so much goes into this. Of course, that's all after all that went into just getting this place back together after a fire 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. So that'll be the closing words from me. Okay?
If you could join me as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, nor the community, or the fire of commitment. We need to carry in our hearts till we are together again.
We hope you will stay. Coffee and goodies will be put out on that back table in just a minute. And stay for a few minutes and chat.